Can I play like a 6-second clip, just
Do
the
it.
audio?
Do it.
Hopefully people can hear this.
Do it.
That's how I feel.
That's how we all feel.
Oh,
Well, we said it on Tuesday that we were either going to come out here and it would be really exciting or the complete opposite, and we got the latter half. So, welcome everybody back. Episode number 47 here. It is the season wrap up here for the Calgary Flames.
it's our Connor Zary episode. By the way. It's our Connor Zary number episode.
Oh yeah, that's right. Number
47.
47.
47. Can you believe that? We nearly reached 50 before this season ended.
Yeah, despite like I had a week off.
I had a week off.
You had a week off.
Sometimes we only did one on Monday. Couldn't do it on Thursday. Yeah.
Pretty bizarre.
I know.
Pretty bizarre. Well, it's going to be a lot of ones going forward, especially.
For sure. Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we'll come on and just talk playoffs maybe, but...
Well, we also, I mean, we have the Wranglers. I feel like we need to give them at least some consideration, no?
Yeah, we'll look at it.
Okay,
You know, well, yeah. No, you say that now. Okay, I'll be more interested in it, for
That's
sure.
what I'm saying.
Too.
I don't think the playoffs for them start till next week, I think.
Yeah, it's a weird format for the
AHL.
next
week, yep.
Something like that.
Yep.
Well, on Tuesday, the Flames got the job done, 5-4 in a shootout, but the out-of-town scoreboards did not, as St. Louis beat the absolute brakes off of Utah. After Utah shouted out the Flames and said, "We got you," and then decided just not to show up.
I actually didn't know that.
Oh yeah, the Utah social media account reached out to the Flames and was like, sent out the gif of like, "We got you."
Is there a tweet? Is there evidence of this?
Go look at their if you go look at their Twitter in their replies.
I think got you.
Yeah, it was something along those lines, and then they completely get obliterated.
How about you actually live up to your expectations?
And then there was hope in the third period until about 20 seconds left there in Minnesota, and unfortunately they broke our hearts as the Wild tied it with 20 seconds left, sent it to overtime, and that's all that needed to be done as the Calgary Flames season comes to an end on Tuesday. The season's not over though tonight, though. We're going to talk about who's in the lineup tonight. You got some key pieces in. We're going to see the debut of Zane Parekh. We're going to see the debut of Hunter Brustevich. We're going to see Sam Morton up. We're going to see Suniev as well too come in. Daniel Vladar starting tonight. No more Dustin Wolf for the rest of the year. We'll kind of break down a little bit what happened Tuesday night. We'll talk about the season as a whole, and we'll talk about what to expect tonight. So I don't know if Neil,
I think I found it.
You found it? Yeah. Okay.
Well, they posted the pic from the office saying, "Do you want to form an alliance?"
That's what it was. Yeah, that's
absolutely, right. I do. Yeah, you guys suck.
And then they get
suck.
Trounced. And Sergachev, by the way, flipped the middle finger at their own social media team on the way off the ice, by the way. So not fun.
Well, nobody likes their last game of the season.
No, of course not. So let's talk about Tuesday night a little bit. We talked about it right before we jumped on it, and I wanted to continue the conversation a little bit because I think the big question again, like it was out of their control. It was out of their fate. Credit to Minnesota for tying it with 20 seconds 100%. Left. They provided all the pressure. I was watching the last 10 minutes of that third period, and they provided all sorts of pressure on them. So it felt like at some point they were going to tie it, and credit to them, they did, and they stuck through it. So, and then despite that, the Flames being down 3-1, and I asked Neil before this, do you think the energy and maybe the nerves maybe would have came back into play, and I think we would have seen a different outcome maybe in that third period because, to the Flames' credit, they came out with literally nothing to lose because their season was over, and they came back, fought hard, and they came back and ended up still winning the game. But I wonder if it would have been different had Minnesota not tied it, and it gave the Flames a chance to go out and still win.
Yeah, like I said before we jumped on, I think it would have made a difference. I can only imagine, because obviously I didn't watch the game, but I can only imagine going into that third, the energy just everywhere was down, just because of the fact that you kind of figured you knew what was happening. You knew that.
And to be frank, they weren't playing well at all.
Right, and they weren't playing well either. So that was unfortunate. But I give the Flames a lot of credit that they didn't just allow what happened beyond their control to basically affect them the rest of the way. I think it's important for them that they found a way to fight back and ultimately win. And especially because again, that was the last home game of the year. That's
Mhm.
your fan appreciation night.
Yeah.
You appreciate the fans by going out there and giving them a better effort at the end of that game and winning the game ultimately. Also, again, let's not forget that was win number 40 on the season. Like
Like,
that's an accomplishment in itself. And I get that we're still at a split on this fan base about how people perceive this season. Some people will say it was a waste of time to be in this race for as long as they were, to not only not make the playoffs, but now our first round pick is not going to be as good. And then there's the people that I guess I would lean towards that I'm more on is that they weren't even supposed to be in that position when the season began. We were just hoping for them to be relatively competitive.
mhm.
And they were competitive all season long. They were there. And yeah, you can look back and say, oh, if we'd gotten a better result in this game or that game or whatever, there's nothing you can do about it once it's over.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think regardless, it's been a really positive season. I did see someone tweet this out, and I agree completely. The only thing is that I don't want the front office to think that you can run it back with the team you have now. You
Yeah.
can't. You have to add. You have to add something. You have to add scoring. I would like to see them add maybe another defenseman or two because I personally I'm in the middle with Miramanov at this point. I really can't tell
He's like
you.
your seventh D man at this point.
Yeah, and I feel like I personally think you could find someone better, but that's just
Sure.
me. But there's a lot of positives to be had. There's a lot of guys that stepped up in different ways. I think our next episode should be like season awards, something like that.
Yeah, we can look at
I
that
think
for
we could do
sure.
that. But yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
they found a way to win last in their last game at home, and now you have an opportunity tonight to finish the season really on a high note, regardless of who the Kings have in their lineup tonight or not.
They won't have a lot.
You I wonder if that streak that they have going for them at home plays a
Gets
fact. Like
snapped.
they semi try tonight.
Well, I think the exciting thing tonight for Flames fans, what they're going to watch is they're going to watch the young guys come out and play. And you're going to watch Suniev, you're going to watch Parak, you're going to watch Brustevich, you're going to watch Morton come in. And I think that's going to be the exciting thing is you want to see how they kind of fit in. And you mentioned defensively, maybe Parak decides that, he takes that next step. And people were comparing Demidov when he came up for Montreal, right?
Oh,
And they're like,
jeez.
oh, well, if Demidov can play, why can't Parak? Demidov has played against full-grown adults. Parek's playing
Yeah,
guys that
grown ass man.
Parak was playing guys that are 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. So let's end the conversation there
Thank you. Yep.
because it doesn't make any sense.
And
So
we got to give
he
Deminoff his flowers. I mean, he stepped right in and played like he had been there all year. That was fun. That was really fun to watch.
he's gonna be terrifying to
He
watch when
scares the
we
actual piss out of me.
yeah.
I
I'll
hate it.
say this. I agree with what you said before because it's very split. The fan base is 100% split down the middle. I've seen it all over socials. I've seen it just talking to
It's
guys.
it's
It's split, right?
it's really split down the middle.
You can't be team tank anymore.
Nope.
After what you saw this year, whether you like it or not, you can't be team tank.
No.
Pierre LeBrun came out this morning actually on TSN and he said he spoke to Craig Conroy before the game against Vegas. One of the
Mhm.
things that Craig said was hopefully there was a little bit of magic left in their miracle kind of run here to get in. But the other thing that he noted was that Craig Conroy continues going into the offseason to have one thing on his mind. It's he still wants to get a young centerman between the ages of 21 and 25, if I'm not
Yep.
mistaken. And he wants to go out and still find that. That's from
Yeah.
Pierre LeBrun. That's what this guy he wants, right?
Right.
And I like it. I think in this league, you have to be bold. And frankly, you've got to be psychotic a little bit too, right?
Which is great. I mean, you have to
You have to.
in order to take those next steps towards getting the team to where you ultimately want it to be. You're gonna have to make a move or two that the majority of the fan base is going to be unsure about
Absolutely.
or feel a little
The
nervous about.
and you're gonna have to, the thing is too, is you talk about this culture and for this type of season, yes, that part of it was a success. You've established it, you've established your foundation, and you're
Right.
going into the offseason with that. And that's something that you can absolutely hang your hat around, because now
Mhm.
what's important is you have to now keep what they've been building inside that locker room. You now have to
Mhm.
keep that going
Yes.
forward and make sure that the veterans are passing it down when they're no longer there, i.e., the Blake Colemans, the Michael Backlunds of the world, yada, yada. So I'm going to say, for the 10% of fans that continue to shit on this team on social media, there's the door.
I agree.
There's the door. The
Yep.
reason why the Flames came back and fought like they did on Tuesday is for the fans that were in the arena on Tuesday night. I'll give the fans a lot of credit because they showed up and they were still cheering this team on and on and on in that third period. And I'll give them a lot of credit. I got to give the players
Yep.
all sorts of credit. And frankly, give the team credit this year. Nobody expected them to be there. And as divided as this fan base is, the players inside that locker room really don't give a shit.
No.
That's the
No.
identity going forward. And you're not going to see this team fold next year or the year
No.
after or the year after that, despite how the season goes. They won't fold, right? So I agree with the fact that they do need to add. I think that's still on Craig Conroy's mind, where,
Yeah.
you're going to have to go out there and go find yourself a number one center,
Mhm.
a young centerman that's frankly a diamond in the rough. Last thing I'll say is this.
Yeah.
I look back, okay. I looked at the expansion draft for Vegas,
Oh
okay.
God.
If you go look, because the roster mainly stayed the same all the way because they had that playoff run all the way to the Stanley Cup final, right?
Right. Yeah.
Did you know their leading point scorer was Riley Smith?
I did know that. I do remember that.
It went Smith,
Mm,
Marchessault,
eh,
William Karlsson. So
Right,
for
and that
those,
was the breakout year for William Karlsson, where he like became
bingo.
like a because I remember
Yep.
him coming from Columbus. He was like, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say this to be mean, but he was like nothing,
Yeah,
anything
absolutely.
special.
100%. 100%.
Yeah,
Now he's earned the well-deserved contract and he's a
he's
big
old
contributing.
now. You know how old we are now that like
Yeah.
William Karlsson's in his 30s. And like, oh God, you old man.
There, if you look at that, you go and look at a team this year like Washington. Their biggest points getter right now is literally Dylan Strome, right? Like that's the crazy part about all this. So
Insane.
my point being is this: for all those people who are on Team Tank and you want a higher pick and all that, it's bullshit. It's bullshit at the end of the day, right?
Yeah,
Because yes, you can absolutely go down and get a generational player at 1, 2, and 3, right?
1000%.
How do you think that's worked out for Chicago so far,
Oh Jesus Christ. Yeah, let's
right?
not. Nope, nope.
In the
It's
last 3 drafts,
yeah.
how do you think it's going to work out for Macklin Celebrini so far in San Jose? I don't
Mm.
know. It's too early to say,
It's
right?
yeah. With I think it's to be more fair to Celebrini. Like it's too early to tell.
It's too early. It's the
Be
first year.
next year will be more telling. I think.
It is, right?
Yeah.
And how do you think Buffalo feels after
Oh,
picking Owen Power and Rasmus Dahlin and all
don't
this
even get me
shit?
started. Don't even get me
So
started with Buffalo.
so my point is like you can have all these top picks all you want, but they have to hit. How
Yeah,
many times, like
big time.
Kucherov, 5th round pick? How many times have we seen guys be diamonds in the rough in drafts? And frankly, the more important thing here, Neil, is all over the league. It's everywhere on every single team. Someone on a certain team is down in the lineup, not getting minutes, not getting
Yep.
time on the ice
Yep.
when they are the real gems to be looking at. And nobody knows. And frankly, we probably have no idea who it could be. Christ, it could be on your Devils. It could be LaChance for all we know, right? We don't
The
know.
chance. Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know if it was French or English.
Wow,
But anyway,
you are. Wow, Jesus
that was
Christ.
my Canadian
That
way of
was
going
so
about it. Yeah.
bad.
Close enough.
We need to clip that and post it on Double State of Mind. Like this is how Kyle. This is what Kyle thinks of. Shane.
That was my Frenchy way of putting it.
Bruh.
So I think what's important is you're right. You can't stay away from the plan, right? You
Right.
have to let a lot of these contracts, frankly, what they have already in Joel Farabee, which isn't awful, Sharon Govich, which can kind of turn around, Jonathan Huberdeau, and Kadri, who you just have to let it go, right? Eventually, you're going to have to make some big decisions with Rasmus Anderson. I think the way to go about it is you have to let him go. I don't
I
know
agree.
how, it can hurt the locker room all at once, but we've seen Steven Stamkos lead the Tampa Bay Lightning, and it seems just fine there because it rallies around John Cooper, and that's where it begins, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
in my mind, Anderson should go this summer. I'm very fascinated to see what he does, and he might be a bargaining chip for what Craig Conroy could be looking for here as a top centerman between the ages of 21 and 25. This team, you're probably not going to see a lot of changes in terms of internally, right, with the players. You got to let these deals kind of play out. You got to sign Wolf long-term. You got to sign Coronado long-term, who had a fantastic year. Zari, who's probably third on that list. You still have to find a way to lock him down, maybe a bridge deal. But ultimately, don't be surprised if they don't do anything, if they don't do a lot this offseason. I should say that. The preface still for Conroy is to go out and find that number one center, but also understand that the guys in their system from the draft last year are going to play a huge role in this process, right? The Andrew Bosch's of the world, the Battaglias of the world, the Henry Muses of the world. The list goes on and on and on because it was such a strong draft class. Mateev Gradin, who's still in the playoffs this year for the Quebec Major Junior League, who's lighting it up for Shawinigan. That's something you have to stay the course, right?
I think it's fair to say that like the future is bright for this Flames team. I think that they've done a really good job of evaluating, talent. One guy I'm surprised you didn't mention going back a few minutes ago was Adam Klapka. I feel like at the end of the year is really
Klapka came out, man. He really did.
You know who I would have loved if he didn't get hurt? You know who I would have loved to see like throughout the year was Kirkland. I really would have seen that. And also, let's not forget that Anthony Mantha got hurt 5 games into this season? We talk about scoring, right? Who knows? He might have been a guy that maybe would have helped along the way. I don't want to use it as an excuse because look at the team I cover. We have 2 of our main guys out and they still made the playoffs.
Well, Anthony
BSing their way to the playoffs, but
by the way, the Flames did finish with more points than the New Jersey Devils.
Oh yeah, no, look, I've said it before. If we were back to the old standings where it wasn't top 3, the Devils would be playing like Washington in the first round. I'm just being totally honest.
Totally.
Which proves my point of how stupid this
system is.
This system is. Which I need to talk about later in this episode.
We will, and we're going to get to our playoff predictions, and we'll look at the playoffs more thoroughly. But I want to wrap it up.
Kyle's going to do something fun live today.
I can't wait. It's all fresh, right?
All fresh.
Last point though, really is, and you brought it up. You got to keep you got to keep the course, right? You obviously next year is my biggest question. I think next year is I think this team clearly wants to make the playoffs. And honestly, that should be the goal. Why not?
Absolutely.
You have to be bold. You have to be, again, a psychotic GM like Vegas is, just as an example, right? How many, you got to make some psychotic, bold moves sometimes if you want to do anything. And because of the cards that Craig Conroy was dealt, you have to play with them.
1000%. And I also just wanted to say that as someone who only this year started watching the Flames and being involved in all of this, it was really a lot of fun. There was a lot of ups and downs throughout the year. But they made it really fun for me, especially to the point where we had 46 episodes to talk about a Flames team that was in contention to make the playoffs.
They were
pretty remarkable if you ask me.
They were the 5th best team since the trade deadline.
If they had gotten, I don't want to go back and look what they could have done, what they didn't do, or whatever. I don't
think they needed to do anything differently. The biggest reason why they're not making it is because of the St. Louis Blues. That's it.
If the Blues even only had a 5-game winning streak, the Flames would have been in.
We wouldn't be having this conversation.
But again, that's neither here nor there. You got to give the Blues credit. You got to give Jim Montgomery credit. They are the hottest team going into the playoffs. I would not want to play them right now.
Totally.
I would not like to see them in the first round. But yeah, look, it's again, there's so much positive you could take away from this season. I know that so many people are feast or famine when it comes to what they want to see from their team. If
Yeah.
the team is like not that great or not a cup contender, then they should just tank. If the team is a cup contender, then go all out and all that stuff. But there also needs to be a process with this stuff that you have to see. And I think that you are seeing a lot of progress and process from this team for sure. And I'm excited about the future. And I really hope that Dustin Wolf plays tonight for the simple fact of I would like to see him tie Jimmy Howard's record for the most wins in a rookie season by a U.S. goaltender, because I think for him, it would be kind of like the cherry on top to what I think has been a phenomenal year for him. And they have
Yeah.
established this is the guy moving forward. And you know how
Yeah.
great that feels when you have at least one position set moving forward? That's awesome. And I'm really excited to see Dustin Wolf down, in the
Yeah.
future, because this kid's going to be really, really good.
Vladar is starting tonight, unfortunately.
Son of a.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry to
that's
burst your
bull. No, that's bull crap.
bubble.
But it's also could be Vladard's last game as a Flame. We don't know.
Don't forget, like Wolves played for the last 2.5, almost 3 weeks in a row
Uh,
now. So you got to give him a break here, I think,
yeah.
because he really kept this team in it, and I think he deserves a long break. Yeah, and
He's gonna get a long break at the.
he
Well, he
is.
might play in the World Championships. We don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I could see that if
That
he
could be
feels
really
he
good for
decides.
him. But I don't know. It just a lot of guys that go to World Championships are guys that like just want to keep playing for a little bit longer. They don't want to just go
Yeah,
into.
like expect Mackenzie Weegar maybe to play. You never know, right?
You
They
never
just
know.
might just want to play. Um, yeah, like I think what people don't realize is that you've now solidified your number one goaltender, where you sign him long term, frankly, 8 years. You sign him tomorrow, basically. Um,
Big facts.
you probably get, like, because it's a goalie lifespan, you probably get in the next 10 seasons, you probably get 8 very good years out of Dustin Wolf.
1,000%.
You know, um, the defense, I don't really have a concern. I love Kevin Ball at the back end. To be honest, in that top four, I like him paired. I'm going to be very curious to watch that Zane Parekh and Kevin Ball pairing tonight. We'll get into the lineups a bit
Hmm.
later. But that's a huge pairing. I'm excited about that one. That's a future pairing right there, if I'm honest with you. Um, Mackenzie Weegar, after Backlund's done next year, because he has one more year in his deal, and I think Backlund will just come in and it might be his last hurrah. Mackenzie Weegar deserves to be captain of this team.
Yeah,
He
I
needs to
think
be
he earned
captain.
it.
He's earned this. He's earned to be a captain of this team. Defensively, I don't think there's an issue really for Calgary. I think you can juggle it fairly well, and I think they have
Oh yeah.
some deep guys, and you can go out and not spend a lot of money and just get guys who can play 5-6, and it's not an issue. You can replace Jake Bean, which he needs to go. I think he's got
Hmm.
a other. God, I think he's got another year on his deal, but I would send him down the AHL so fast.
Oh yeah.
Holy crap. So maybe they decide to do that and they say, sorry, Jake, we'll eat like however, whatever it is, like $1 million and just send you down to the
Yeah.
AHL. So the only thing really I think that needs to be addressed is that center position, because you basically can go back with this same team, expect better performances probably from a guy like Igor Sharangovich, who needs to have a better year next year. Excuse me. I'd like to see a bit more out of Connor Zary in a solidified role. I think for the most part, they started to figure some stuff out here, and maybe Adam Klapka all of a sudden, I really actually didn't mind him playing with Kadri and Huberdeau this year. So, there's not a lot of things they need to add offensively. They just need to add some goals in, and maybe they go out there and sign another Anthony Mantha type like deal with a 1-year deal this offseason, and it's very cheap.
Like
And
a
the
power
guy,
forward type of thing. Yeah.
power forward, go out,
Yeah.
try to score a couple more goals, and that's all it might take for the Calgary Flames next year. So,
Hmm.
it's going to look very similar, probably a little bit tweaking, but I
Yeah.
think the biggest question this offseason is going to be Rasmus Anderson. That's the biggest question mark, and that is the
Yeah.
direction this team's going to go.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's fair to say that you could probably, especially if you're going to deal him in the offseason, you're much more likely to get a better deal for him than if you tried to move him at the deadline. I look at the Jacob Markstrom trade from the summer. I know that people were talking about, oh, they might have gotten a better deal at that deadline last year. We don't know. We really
I
don't know
I
what.
actually think, looking back on it, it was a pretty fair deal.
That's what I'm saying. It was a pretty fair deal because not only do I get it, but I also get a bobblehead now.
Yeah, there you go.
This was yesterday.
Now
Literally
you got to rely on now for a fucking series against
Yeah, we'll see.
Carolina.
I think it's really funny. They were showing a graphic of like Markstrom and Jake Allen. They both are exactly at 500 in their career in the playoffs, and I'm like, they have the best records by a Devils goalie going into the playoffs since probably Marty.
That's
Like it's
fucked.
really funny to think about, but no, I look at that deal. You look at it now, and you say to yourself, you got another first round pick, which is great. You know, you could do. We
So is
talked.
Anderson worth more or less than what that deal was?
I think Anderson is worth. Can I say about the same? Is that fair?
I think it's going to vary on. Well, number one, he wants to probably go to a contender
He
if
wants
he
to go
gets
to a
out.
contender, and we already know that there are a lot of contenders that will try to pull a fast one, and also they may not have the assets that might be enticing to Craig Conroy.
So, but I think if you're Craig, I don't want a first round pick. What's the value of a first round pick
Get a
going to do for me?
prospect. Get a guy that you can get a guy that's already like I don't want to say established, but get a guy that like is already been playing in some regard and go
Yeah,
from there. And I think you can.
it's
I
out
think
there. 100% it's
I
out
think
there.
there's
I wouldn't be looking for picks if I'm
I
Conroy.
have a
You keep your
very
pick.
interesting I have a very interesting idea.
Shoot.
What if because they called about Rasmus Anderson. If the Leafs can't find
Mm,
a deal that works, what if we trade Anderson to Toronto for the rights, or we could do a sign and trade for Matthew Nyes? Thoughts? I think that's reasonable personally.
I think there would be more that would have to come with it.
Well, again, the other
But
thing that we have to establish is who's the GM of the Leafs right now.
yeah, I know.
I'm just saying he knows
I know.
Rasmus Anderson. He knows what he could bring.
It's true. But
And also, I feel like they want to go a little old school with their team, like older guys.
plus, he would only have 1 year left on his deal. That the more I think about it, the more it's kind of like oof.
Also, their defensive core needs help, Kyle. Let's not kid
It's
ourselves.
true. Also, the fact that like they think that guys they wanted Anthony Stollarz. Leafs Nation wants Anthony Stollarz to be up for a Vezina.
Ha!
I'm
Okay.
not even kidding. They want him up for a Vezina
I want Darcy Kemper up for a Vezina, and I think he had a hell of a year.
because Stollarz played like 30 games, and
He
they're
got
all
hurt. Okay. If you go back like
yeah.
3 months ago, there was a
We're getting
period
off track.
yeah, I know.
I know.
Really quick. There was a period where he was playing very well, and I gave him a lot of credit. Then he got
Yeah.
hurt, and like he was okay the rest of the way.
Right.
Jacob Markstrom was playing at a Vezina level before he got hurt, not even in the conversation anymore.
I know.
It just
Yeah,
happens.
it
So
does.
no.
Anyway, so yeah, like with that, you know what's funny is I feel like a lot of teams could potentially do that. And that's why Rasmus Anderson is such an interesting bargaining chip because I kind of think of one team in mind. Okay. And I don't think so because eh, I really believe they're going to sign him. But like you look at a lot of these RFAs, right? It makes sense if you want to use him as a bargaining chip to go out there and find just as an example here, a guy who's an RFA is Marco Rossi for the Minnesota Wild.
Yep.
He's a young centerman in that age range, and frankly, he probably wants to stay in Minnesota, which is why it would never work. But
Mhm.
you wonder what type of a bargaining chip he could be, right? Because he's
Yeah.
only got 1 year, and because he's so cheap, and frankly, he was kind of shit down the last 20 games or so for the Flames. He had like a minus close to
Yeah.
30, I think. He was terrible.
Yeah. I
So
I still think you could use the Markstrom trade as like
a building block,
somewhat of a building block. But
maybe.
again, the difference is that when you traded Markstrom, he still had 2 years left on his deal,
Right.
whereas
Out,
Rasmus Anderson
yeah.
has one.
Outside of that, you're not going to see much this offseason from these guys. You
And
got
I
to let the
think that's okay.
contracts go, and it's all right, you know.
I
And
think
there's
that's okay.
I hate the idea of being this team tank next year. What's the point?
No,
You're
no.
gonna
It's
have
just team content.
guess what? You know who's
Yeah.
not going to allow you to be team tank? The guy who's in net this year. He's
Nope.
not going to allow it.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Why would he?
And that's the
Why
thing,
would
right?
he?
If the fans want the 10% or whatever, however the percentage is for the fans, they want that to happen, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're wasting the years then of Dustin Wolf. You might as well trade him.
Might as well, right? There's no point because if Flames fans are going next year, oh, we should tank. So what you're telling me is that you're going to tell your best player, because Dustin Wolf is, in my opinion, to essentially suck next year, what does that prove? What it'll do is that people on the outside will say, "Oh, then last year was a fluke,"
Right. Right.
and that's not good.
And you know what? For next year, again, at least they have their first round pick next year. At least the draft class is going to be significantly better than what it is this year.
Yes.
Outside of the first overall pick, we have no effing idea what this draft is going to look like this year. We don't
Mhm.
know. And the first round pick, honestly, isn't even that appetizing, to be honest with you, in Matthew Schaefer. So at least thank God they have their own first round pick next year. And actually, thank God they're going to have 2 picks. One of them could very likely be the 18th pick unless the Devils somehow get to the conference finals this year. Neil can chime in on that later. Thank God they have their first round pick next year, because if it doesn't, for some
Thank
reason,
God.
if it doesn't fall out the way it's supposed to and they land inside that top 10, then that's okay. They get in the lottery and they see what happens, and there you go. There's your top player. But from that point on, you're going to get guys who are going to want to go, but you can start to mold a little bit,
Yeah, for sure.
So don't be
100%.
surprised next year if this team's not very good. And it's not a bad thing if they're not that good. They're still protecting the future. The plan is still in place. They're not stirring away from it. They were just surprised by the way this year really went, so that next year, okay, you're going to have to just see how it goes. I think that
Right.
was the whole idea when Conroy kind of started the year, is that you have this plan for these next 3 years where you just want to have this developmental process mindset in, while kind of molding this team together the way that you want it to. And at some
Yeah.
point, he's going to have to make a bold decision. Might not be this offseason. We'll have to see with Anderson, but you're going to have to make some bold decision in order to move this team forward, because they were a certain amount of goals away from getting to the
Absolutely.
playoffs. So there you go. All right. So that's that. And we will very quickly, I'm just going to bring up the lineup for tonight, and then we'll take a break. We'll just get some quick thoughts on it. I did mention Zane Parekh obviously is going to be in the lineup tonight, along with a lot of other rookies, including Sam Morton, Brustevich, and also Suniev in the lineup. So this is your projected lineup for tonight. And I mean, if we give a little shout out here to the End in the Dome podcast guys who were a part of THPN, denying Wolf of reaching Vernon's record after the season he just gave you is total Babcock vibes. Uncool. He did just play for about 3 weeks in a row. So, and they probably asked like, "Hey, like, do you want to play tonight?" Like, do you guys understand that maybe Wolf was the one that made the decision, and he's like, "Guys, I'm fucking exhausted," because he carried this team the whole fucking year. Maybe
He
he's
carried them
dead
the whole
tired. Maybe he's
year.
dead tired, and he's like, "No, I need a
Facts.
break." Like, I think that's more important than,
No,
"Oh
screw that.
no, we
Screw
got to
either way.
get him to reach Vernon's record." Oh, sorry, Neil, but oh god, we got to get him to tie Jimmy Howard's record.
Yeah, I know.
The year spoke for itself, man. Fuck, like, relax. All
I
right.
know. I know. I know. I know.
Anyway,
A man can
so
dream. I was like, a man can dream.
I know. I really like Ball and Parekh tonight. That's gonna be so fascinating to watch. They got him on the top pairing unit, which is gonna be really cool to see. They have Suniev right up top there with Nazem Kadri there, and
Yeah.
Adam Klopka just being where he is. I like it there. And then the other one to look for here is gonna be on the fourth line. You're gonna get Lomberg, who's still gonna play. You're gonna get Dryden Hunt, who's playing, and Sam Morton as well too. So Jonathan Huberdeau's not on tonight. No Kevin Rooney tonight. No Rasmus
Thank
Anderson
God.
tonight. Just a couple of notable guys not playing tonight.
Yeah. And I mean, it's fine. It's totally fine. And I think that's what makes it interesting, is that, you still have a reason to watch, right?
Yeah.
I understand that some people just don't want to anymore. And it's like, so then don't watch. Like
Right.
I've said this so many times about when people are complaining about this, that, or the other thing. And my response is like, you know what? If you're that unhappy, then don't bother.
Yep.
Like, really don't waste your time.
Why are you here, and why are you wasting your breath?
Why are you wasting your breath, your time, and everything? And that just proves that there's people out there that just really, really just want to complain.
And
about
I get like the frustration too. I understand
Right.
that. I understand being this like peak penis. You want to call it 9th overall, like, in the West this year, all that crap. I get it, but I've kind of realized over time that there's no point really in being angry about this type of stuff, because it's nothing that I can control. It's nothing that these fans can control either. As much as they want
Right.
to chirp and bark about it, they can't control anything about it. So
No.
I'm just going to sit back and support this team because I love this team.
1,000%.
From day one. You would say the same thing for yourself, Neil, with the Devils. I mean, that's and a lot of fans should be feeling the same, where it's just like, even Blackhawks fans, right? As frustrating as it might be, like, there's nothing you can control.
Blackhawks fans are a great example. Blackhawks fans are a great example of, like, their team is terrible right now, but they still sell out every freaking night because they care. Yeah. Because they are supporting the team no matter what, even if it pisses them off. And there's people out there that do it at every fan base, everywhere.
And don't get me wrong, like, there's nights and there's days where we're clearly frustrated with this team. 100%. I'm not denying it.
1,000% true. Yes.
I'm more or less talking to the people that do it on a daily basis.
Right. There's always the people that are like, like literally every single time that they even get an opportunity, they'll say some other BS like thing. And it's like, you know what? Just go away.
Yeah.
Just go away. Go watch something else. Don't waste 3 hours of your life every other day doing it. Like, it's just, that's the way I look at it.
And, it's just disappointing to see sometimes when you look at it from a lot of Flames fans who feel that way. And it's just, it's sad. It's just sad to see it because it's just like that's kind of how the output you're putting on your life too, right? So I'm enjoying it. Listen, there's 32 teams that can win it every single year. It's the hardest trophy to win, right? And sometimes all you need is a hot goaltender, a couple of random diamonds in the rough. You don't even need guys like Nathan McKinnon, Austin Matthews, and McDavid to win the cup. Right.
We've seen teams.
It would be nice to have Matthew Tkachuk win the team right now, but that's here nor there.
It's one of those things where it's like,
fuck Brad Treliving. That's all I gotta say.
There you go. There you go. It's more of just like, you don't know what could happen in the playoffs once you get there. That's kind of the way you always have to look at it. Like, it's a clean slate once you get to that point.
It is.
For some teams, it'll really be a clean slate depending on their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Which we'll get into in just a minute because I'm pissed about it. Also, I just want to say really quick, as a very funny side note, on that tweet in the bottom right corner, there's a thing, where the trending pages, it says it's talking about Aaron Rodgers, but then it's trending with Jets and 6. That's really funny. I just find that really funny. Let's see if that's Cal's prediction when it's all said and done.
You got it. Okay. So that's it for the Flames season. Overall, it was very cool to see, very cool to watch this year. And I'm excited for the offseason. I'm excited for the draft coming up again. And still reason to watch the playoffs, Flames fans. You have to watch to see what the Devils do. You have to watch to see what the Florida Panthers do because, your draft picks might be very close to each other in the first round and they might be meaningful. They might be bargaining chips. Who knows what they could be. That happens
in Montreal, too.
And Montreal. We'll get into all playoff action after the break here, after a quick read from our sponsors. We'll get into the scheduling, and we're going to make our predictions after the break here as well, too. So stay with us. If you're ready to win some real cash during the basketball and hockey playoffs this year, check out Pick 6 from DraftKings. When it comes to basketball and hockey payouts, DraftKings Pick 6 posterizes the competition, including prize picks. Hit all your picks and score higher minimum payouts on Pick 6 Plus. Even more cash if you outscore the competition. Pick 6 is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Texas, Georgia, and more. New players get $50 in Pick 6 credits instantly and on just a $5 entry. You download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins, only on Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
Is that a real person's voice, or is that an AI thing, you think?
Pretty sure it's an AI thing.
Okay, fair.
Because the computers are taking over the world.
Don't the BS that I get? Kyle, you have no idea the BS I get on my Instagram feed. I'm so angry. I get so angry with this crap.
So don't worry about it
Sick
then.
of
It's
it.
okay. It's all okay.
Oh, don't tell me it's okay. It's not okay.
Fine.
Dude, dude, the world is being taken over by AI. We're going to watch AI hockey, and I'm going to be sick.
I might be in the same boat, to be honest.
Also, wait, we talk about AI, right? Did you hear the thing about the USHL? You heard about that?
The USHL. What happened to the USHL?
They're using ChatGPT next year to make their schedule. I'm not kidding.
That's bullshit.
What are we doing?
That's bullshit.
Watch it end up being better than any other schedule maker out there.
Speaking of schedule making, let's get into it, folks. So the schedule did drop today for the NHL playoffs, and it's
Say it. No, Kyle, just say it. Say it like you mean it.
really fucking bad.
Thank you.
It's pathetic.
Some BS.
It is an utter joke is what it is. So I'm gonna bring it up here from Frank Saravalli. It's just because it's a good way to show this here, but it is the entire schedule here for the first round of the playoffs, which begin on Saturday. So if you look at, and for those of you listening as well too, we're gonna start out in the Eastern Conference here.
Here we are.
I'll just run through it very quickly here. Starting dates for the East and the West. Leafs Senators Sunday, April 20th. You got Panthers Tampa start Tuesday, April 22nd. Montreal and Washington kick off on Monday, April 21st. Sunday, Devils and Carolina kick off their series.
3:00, by the way.
3:00 on Eastern.
What?
Great. St. Louis, Winnipeg, Saturday night. Colorado, Dallas, Saturday night. Minnesota, Vegas, Sunday night. Monday, Edmonton, LA.
All right.
Like,
bull crap.
What the fuck, man?
What is this stupid ass schedule?
So you've got 2 games Saturday night, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's excited. Playoffs, okay.
It's all the West, by the way, on Saturday.
They needed 4 games on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Why the fuck, in God's green earth, is Tampa Bay and Florida not starting until Tuesday? So, is there something behind it?
I don't know.
Is there something behind it where Matthew Tkachuk, Brad Marchand, and the rest of the crew there in Florida need to get more healthy, and they bribe the NHL a little bit?
I don't think there was bribing. I think the NHL did that. I believe the NHL did that on their own accord. That's what I believe.
I can't believe
they can't keep getting away with it.
The schedule is a miss and a half.
The only other team I would have seen, the only other series I could have seen being moved to like Sunday, or not Sunday, Tuesday, because reasons, is like Minnesota, Vegas, just so Vegas could be like,
oh my God, they would have pissed off so many people. But like, even 3 games on Saturday.
I love Grace, by the way, over on the right. I don't know if you see it, Kyle.
Yes, yeah.
He said, love when games start at a reasonable hour of 11 p.m.
Tuesday, game 2 between the Golden Knights and the Wild at 11 Eastern. What? The LA Kings don't even start at 11 o'clock, and they're even further west than Vegas. What the fuck are we doing here? Honestly, it makes no goddamn sense.
Oh, God. You want to alienate your fans. This is how you do it.
And then
also, I just want to say, why are we playing? I know that not everybody's religious. I'm aware. Why are we playing on Easter? Why is anybody playing on Easter? I just don't see a world like you could like wait another day. It's okay.
So the only good news is that next Saturday, if I looked at it right, I think there's 4 or 5 games on Saturday next week.
Jesus Christ.
So whatever. I don't get it. It makes no sense. We can complain about it all we want. After we literally just want a tangent of like, this is fine. Everything's nice, right?
It's fine. No, it's
okay.
fine.
You ready to do this? It's bracket challenge season, folks.
Bracket time. I have mine up. You guys can't see it, but I have mine up.
Neil, I'm going to give you the honor of picking where we would like to start.
Let's start in the West.
We're going to
Because I like
start.
going from left to right.
All right,
On my screen, let's go from top to bottom.
So for those of you listening, we're going to start in the West.
Yep, we're going to start with the Jets
and the
Blues. Holy crap.
All right.
Oh.
Neil, I will let you have the honors. Your prediction for the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues.
Fantastic. Well,
you're welcome.
The biggest thing that you have to keep your eye on for Winnipeg is the fact that Nikolai Ehlers is week to week with an injury.
That is huge.
That is a major thing.
Massive.
And the other thing to keep in mind is that we've seen Winnipeg in the past not do well in the playoffs, particularly Connor Hellebuck, for as great as he is in the regular season, and he's going to end up winning the Vezina. Maybe he makes a run at the Hart. Who knows? He just underperforms in the big moments. I will give him credit. I thought he played really well in the Four Nations. So that was kind of like, I was kind of like, all right, that's a big moment, and he played well. St. Louis is coming in as, without question, the hardest team, the hottest team going into the playoffs. And it's really, the points differ, but look at the goals per game, Kyle.
It's dead even, man. You're going to get a high scoring.
This is pretty dead even if you have to. It actually feels a little bit like a coin flip. A little bit. So with that in mind, my prediction is going to be the Blues in 6.
Wow. You got St. Louis in 6.
And also, Kyle, who's the President's Trophy champions this year?
The Winnipeg Jets.
When was the last time a President's Trophy team won anything?
Never.
It's real. You want an upset in the first round? This might be the one, people. I'm just saying. So I'm going to go Blues in 6.
So
Kyle's going to completely disagree and go Jets in 4.
I've got the Jets, but I've got them in 7 games. And the only reason I say that, let me just do the little thing there. I'll only say that because I agree. This is going to be very close. This is not an easy matchup. And that's the last thing the Winnipeg Jets really wanted in that first round was going to be matched up with a team that just won 12 games in a row. And frankly, have been hot to end the season as well, too. They just spanked Utah. They got all the confidence in the world. And also, I believe for the most part, they're healthy outside of Dylan Holloway.
This also gives like 2019 St. Louis Blues vibes, people.
Right. And
Jordan Binnington in the playoffs.
And it's kind of scary. The biggest difference in this series, frankly, is going to be Jordan Binnington versus Connor Hellebuck. Connor Hellebuck last year was terrible. He needs to be on his game. And I think that it will go 7. I just think they're going to be, I think they're going to shut the door at home in 7. Fair. I'll take the Winnipeg Jets in 7 games.
Remember that one game that we did? It was Jets Avalanche where it was like 8-5. Do you remember that? We did a live watch along.
Yeah, it was the Avalanche last year, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the dumbest game ever. I was like, dude, these teams are terrible.
It was stupid. All right, moving on. This game, we will be live for game 1 Saturday night between the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche.
Oh, boy.
Take a look at the matchup here. Oh, my God, it's even more even.
No, actually, it's stupid.
Okay, Neil, do you want me to go first?
No, you go first. No, okay. You go first this time.
The loss of Miro Heiskanen, and I believe, we don't know to the extent, but it sounds like Jason Robertson is out for the majority of this series, if not longer.
But Tyler Seguin is back.
Tyler Seguin's back. I don't know how big of a difference that's going to make. I think Colorado is really molded into their own here. Mm-hmm. And I think Nathan MacKinnon can drag this team to the second round. I really do. I think the biggest key player here actually on both sides, on both sides, I think Jake Ottinger, I'm going to go back to the goaltending in Dallas. Mm-hmm. I think Jake Ottinger is going to make or break this Dallas team because I have no doubt that they can go out and score. They've got the goals per game there. I think they can go out and, score at will here. And you got Mikko Rantanen. Maybe that makes a bit of a difference here too. Mm-hmm. But Jake Ottinger needs to be on his game and he needs to shut down the Avalanche in the best way possible. And that'll give the Stars a lot of credit going forward into this postseason. Mm-hmm. I just think Colorado, with the additions that they made at the deadline, getting Brock Nelson helps immensely. Defensively, you still have Cale McCarr. It's still really good defensively with Devon Toews. And goaltending-wise, it actually hasn't been that bad with Scott Wedgwood in net. I believe he's the main man in net. So
again, it would be Blackwood, I believe.
Excuse me, Mackenzie Blackwood. You're right. Correct. Thank you, Mackenzie Blackwood.
They have 3 different Woods on their team.
Right. That's right.
Who are all former Devils, by the way. I just thought
it's similar teams in the sense that you have high flying guys in net, or out, not in net, whatever. I like the Colorado Avalanche in 6 games.
I'm not going to go on a long spiel with this one. I'm pretty much in the exact same boat as you are. I'm going to go with the Avalanche as well in 6 because I just think that the Avalanche are that really sneaky, like they're sneaky in the sense of like they could easily go on a long run in the playoffs. Yep. Also, I don't know if you mentioned it, but there's a certain captain that might be returning to the lineup.
And Gabriel Landeskog returning? Yeah, Avalanche in 4. Oh my God. So that's the thing, though. They don't have the Stars don't have Heiskanen, and they don't have Jason Robertson, who I imagine probably won't make it back for the series because there's no way he was.
If they make it to the second round, I see him playing.
Right, but now you have Gabriel Landeskog.
But now you got Landeskog. You got that big boost.
Avalanche in 4.
I'm gonna Is that actually your prediction?
No, I got Avalanche.
Okay, all right. Yeah, right. Yeah, Avalanche in 2.5. I'm gonna go with the Avs in 6 as well. Just because, again, I agree with a lot of what you said in just the fact that there is so much, and there's a lot of momentum because, like, also the other thing is this: you don't think the Avs want to beat Mikko Rantanen?
Oh my God! They want to beat the brakes off.
Also, you forgot somebody who I think is an X factor offensively for Colorado, Martin Necas, who's really fit in very well. I forget, there were so many times earlier this year when he first got to Colorado, where he looked just as fast as Nathan McKinnon. It was kind of wild. I was like, where did this speed come from? And I'm like, it's the system in Colorado.
Jack Drury, don't forget too, who's on that team as well now.
Cale Makar.
I like Colorado here. Love it.
Colorado in 6. I think.
All right. Golden Knights and Wild. What do you got here? You go on this one.
I have the Knights in 5.
I also have the Knights in 5.
I don't. Look, Minnesota is limping into the playoffs. I know that they got Eriksson back. They got Kirill back. But, like, they were free-falling. They were lucky to get in.
They were free-falling
super hard. Yeah. It was not an easy thing. And I just think that the Golden Knights are going to overwhelm them at times.
They've already scores difference here, even.
I know if it gets beyond 5 games, I'll be surprised.
Me too.
So I'm going to go with Vegas in 5 on that one.
I also have the Vegas Golden Knights in 5. All right. Here's an intriguing one.
This is my favorite series in the West. I know people are going crazy for Colorado. This is the one. This is the one I'm going to be watching from start to finish.
It's going to be fascinating because now it escalated because of Darnell Nurse, who cross-checked. Who was it? Sorry. Oh my God, who was it? Who was it? Quinn Byfield. Oh my God. Yep. Byfield in the head, and he got 1 game. And now Darnell Nurse is back for game 1.
Didn't matter.
So you got the
Darnell Nurse did that because he knew he probably wasn't going to get suspended for the playoffs. He was like, I'd take a free shot.
Probably. So you got the LA Kings with home ice advantage over the Edmonton Oilers here. Oilers coming in riddled with injuries. No Matthias Ekholm for, we know, the first round of the playoffs here. Stuart Skinner apparently is going to be the guy in net for Edmonton, and LA coming in very healthy, very good.
And the best team at home in the NHL.
Neil, who do you got?
Kings in 6. I'm gonna say 6. I don't think Edmonton's gonna I think Edmonton's gonna put up a good fight. It's the Oilers. Like, this is a team that went to the finals last year.
Oh yeah, you can't dispute that. Of course,
this is the third year in a row that we get this freaking matchup in the first round, or 4th. I don't remember at this point.
The LA Kings, if I'm not mistaken, swept the season series with the Oilers.
The Kings want blood.
They are out for blood.
They're mad. This is their Stanley Cup final. Well, honestly,
the funny thing is like, for Darnell Nurse to get 1 game, that probably is the worst case scenario for the Edmonton Oilers. if you think about it. Because now the Kings are pissed, and now they're going to be like, fuck you guys.
Exactly.
We're coming after you.
100%.
I think this goes
Actually,
this
I'm going to change one little part of my prediction.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Kings in 7. I actually think this goes.
I have
the
the Kings in
distance.
7. That's what I was.
I'm gonna say 7. I want to give the Edmonton Oilers credit where credit is due because they're very good at home. They're very.
By Jets. Sorry, I'm just filling this.
I actually already forgot what I said for some of these. I said Blues in 6. What did I say for the Avs? 6.
I have Jets in 7. I've got Avs in 6. I've got Knights in 5. I've got Kings in 7.
And I have Blues in 6, Avs in 6, Vegas in 5, Kings in 7.
The one that I like is I actually don't mind your Blues pick because I think that is a series that will absolutely go the distance. For sure. Yeah. All right. Let's head out east now. Let's start with the Battle of Ontario. The Leafs win the Leafs win the Atlantic and the Ottawa Senators.
I don't care. Sens in 4.
Sens reached the playoffs for the first time since I believe 2017. 2018, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Nope, you're right. 17 when they went to the conference finals and lost to the Penguins.
Yes. So the Senators come in. I believe Leafs are going to be favored in this one. Neil, who wins the Battle of Ontario?
Do I do it? Do I just, it's the first round of the playoffs. It's the ultimate enemy to the Leafs, but I don't, okay, I'm going to be fair. I'm going to be logical about this as much as I don't want to be. I'm going to go with the Leafs in 6. I think that the Senators will put up a good fight. I really do.
Okay.
Goaltending is a little bit of a question mark. I don't know who they're going to start in game 1 because Olmark, obviously, you paid him all that money. But who's that? The Finnish goaltender they have?
Forsberg, Anton Forsberg.
No. The younger one.
Oh, sorry for the Leafs.
No. For the Senators, there was a third one. I'm blanking on right now.
Oh, he had like a long Mullinainen or something like that. Yeah.
I don't think they'll start.
Definitely butchered the name, but sure.
But I was like, he did play pretty well, this year.
He did, but they're gonna roll with Olmark.
Yeah, and you know what? I think we're going to have some fun in this series. I just really hope that Senators fans show out for their home games. I hope so.
I think the Leafs win this series because I don't believe the Sens fans. It's not to their fault. I think just Leafs fans are crazy and they're going to just tackle the Ottawa arena. And it's probably the worst case scenario for the Senators because you don't really have a home game, to be honest. You don't. Because you know what's going to happen is all the Leaf fans who can't get tickets in Toronto are going to swarm and get the tickets in Ottawa because they're going to be that much cheaper. They're right now anywhere between $200 and $500 in Ottawa right now. Yeah. Worst case scenario really for the Senators, not their fault. Really, it's just the Leafs fans that are going to take over, and I think ultimately you're going to make the biggest difference here. Although the Senators have played well against them all year, I actually have the Toronto Maple Leafs in 5 games. I think they're just going to roll them over.
I have a side note. When was the last time we had more than 4 Canadian teams in the playoffs? It would be 5 out of the 7 Canadian teams.
I believe it was the year when the Flames and the Oilers met up in the second round. I think that year we had them. We had the Jets. We had the Leafs. Yeah, maybe it's been a while actually. Anyway, it's been a hot minute. Yeah. All right. From Battle of Ontario to Battle of Florida, you got Tampa Bay and a well-rested Florida team. The series takes on Tuesday. This is going to be a fascinating series. This is definitely not going to be the series like we saw. I think it was last year when Florida swept the Tampa Bay Lightning in 4. The Lightning are slight favorites in this one here. Yeah. Lightning with home ice advantage as well this time. Neil, who wins the Battle of Florida?
Battle of Florida, man. If there was one team that the Panthers did not want to face in the first round, it's the Lightning. And look, the Lightning took the first two times that these two teams faced off. Panthers finally got over the hump and beat them. And the injuries are a little bit of a concern for Florida with Marchand and.
They're not playing till Tuesday now, apparently.
They're not playing till Tuesday, so maybe it won't freaking matter at any point. But I'm going to say Tampa in 7. I think I really, really like it. I like that team has been there and done that. And I do believe that the Lightning are going to be pissed and being like, yo, we want to beat them. They're the defending champions. I think that they can do it. And you know what? I know that Bobrovsky's had back-to-back years where he was very good in the playoffs, but I just such a tough time going against Andrei Vasilevsky in the playoffs. So I'm going to go with Tampa in 7.
I've got the Florida Panthers in 6 games.
In 6, Jesus.
I've got Florida in 6, and the reason why is very simple, Neil. They're the champs till they ain't anymore.
That's fair.
Right? They are the team to beat. And, I fully believe that they're going to come back healthy with, because the way they finished the year wasn't very strong. They didn't have Kachuk. They didn't really have a full healthy Marchand, even though he kind of came in a little bit, right? And you acquire him at the deadline for this very reason. You'll come back defensively. You got Seth Jones and Ekblad back there. It's still a deep unit here. I think they're going to overwhelm Tampa a little bit there. And as much as it might be on Vasilevsky, my worry is that how much of the load is Tampa going to have to rely on guys like Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point and Seth Jarvis, Jesus Christ. You know who I mean. Brandon Hagel. I just think they're the champs till they're not. I got the Florida Panthers in 6 games. I just think that it could very well go 7 games, 1,000%.
Very well.
I think if they get home ice, though, and it's game 6 and Florida's up 1 in this series, I think they close it out at home.
Love it.
All right. Let's head to Washington now as the Capitals take on the Montreal Canadiens here in our second to last matchup here. All the analytics so far point towards the Washington Capitals here. They don't let in a lot of goals based on Logan Thompson being very well, although his health is actually a bit of a concern.
He's been hurt. We've seen a lot more of why is his name escaping me at the moment? Lindgren. We've seen a lot more of Lindgren.
A lot more Lindgren. Maybe they're just getting ready for Thompson to get ready for the playoffs. That's my guess here.
I would still start with Lindgren in the playoffs, personally.
And maybe they do. But Washington's got home ice. Neil, Capitals, Canadiens. What do you got?
The Capitals are very lucky that they didn't win the President's Trophy. Otherwise,
or else you're smelling an upset.
Yeah, because I think the difference for Montreal is Sam Montembeault, personally.
I think so. I would agree with that.
Who I really like, by the way, long term. I like it. But I'm going to go Capitals in 5. It just stop. Don't give me that look. Here's the thing. Montreal, I don't want to say limped into the playoffs. They really had to wait till the very last second to clinch that spot. It wasn't we almost had the Blue Jackets, which I think my opinion would change if Columbus got in.
Yeah.
But I think that Montreal, I think this is a really important learning year for them. I think that they will put up some fight. Yeah. But I think overall, I think the Capitals are the better team. So I'm going to go with the Capitals in 5. And you're going to tell me that you have Montreal in 7, aren't you?
So I've liked the Capitals all year. I think they've stumbled a little bit late, if I'm not mistaken, as well, too. They're a powerhouse in turn, too, with Tom Wilson and a lot of the bigger guys on that end, too. They've really rode on the coattails of Alex Ovechkin all year, right? And you commend him for how well he's done there. I thought it was really important for Montreal as well, too, on the other side to bring in Ivan Demidov. I think he just brings a different dynamic now to this team. And now all of a sudden he's a bit of a wild card going into this playoff series. Neil, I've got the Montreal Canadiens in 7 games.
I knew it. I knew you were going to do that. All right.
I don't know why. I think everything about this says that Washington should absolutely win this series. You're absolutely right.
Sure.
I'm not going to discredit anything that you're saying. I just have this funny feeling that there's going to be the Capitals have been stumbling into the playoffs. Their top points getter right now is Dylan Strome. And as well, too, here, they've got a lot of guys in there that have to contribute in order for this team to be successful. It goes down the line to Pierre-Luc Dubois, Tom Wilson, who I think is the top goals getter on this team so far, blah, blah, blah. For Montreal, I think they've played, and just watching them play last night, despite a little bit of a lighter Carolina Hurricanes lineup, they play very well defensively. They're dynamic offensively too, especially on the power play.
Kyle,
Neil, I'm telling you, I think Ivan Demidov has a coming out party, and he's going to go banana lands in this first round series. I think Montreal forces Game 7 back in Washington, and I think they steal it from the Capitals. And I've got the Canadiens in 7 games. I'm telling you, man. I think we've seen it before. We've seen it before. All the crazy. What happened with Florida 2 years ago? I'm not saying that Canadians are getting in the Stanley Cup final. Absolutely not. Do I think they can win this series? Hell yeah, they can. Absolutely. What are you thinking the other way now? What are you? Or are you frozen? You might be frozen. Okay, I think Neil's actually. Oh yeah, he's frozen. He had his head down the whole time, and then I thought he was frozen the whole time. Oh, that's a fun way to do it. Okay, we'll give Neil a hot second to come back in, but I don't know why. I'm still gonna roll here with the Montreal Canadiens. I really do. I think we gotta clip that because that was amazing. All right, we'll give Neil a second to come back here because he obviously wants to have his take here. We got one more series to look at here in Carolina and New Jersey before we say goodbye for the day here so far. But yeah, I don't know about you guys. I just think that you look at Washington, who stumbled down the stretch a little bit. You look at, is there an injury concern maybe with Logan Thompson? You know, you have to rely on a lot of guys within Washington to make up for a lot of your goals here. It's going to be Tom Wilson. It's going to be, Ovechkin, who's going to play a part of it again this year because, again, they were riding him all year long and all the way to the very end. And you wonder if, like, a lot of that celebration is kind of halting a little bit for this team. I think Montreal is a fascinating opportunity here to do some damage. And I think that I really believe that Ivan Demidov can make a massive difference here in this series. I really do. He is the biggest X factor going in. I think they need to play him like crazy. I think they need to play him on the power play. He's just watching him. It's just dynamic to watch. Nick Suzuki has emerged as a leader. I could be dead wrong about this too and think that Washington probably wins this in 4 and I would look stupid for it, but I don't care. I think it's the playoffs and stupid shit can happen, and I'm going to roll with the Montreal Canadiens here. I think they get it done in 7 games. I think they find a way to go into Washington and steal one from them. I think they can make it very frustrating for them, and I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they can do something very special here. So do I think they go further past this? Probably not, but I will commend them for their effort here because I think they can upset here and I think they can do something special. So we'll give Neil a minute to come back here. I'll start talking about the last series while we're at it here. Let's take a look. We got Carolina and the New Jersey Devils here. I won't make my prediction yet, but we'll just quickly talk about it. So you got Carolina here coming in here with massive favorites coming in. Believe it or not, Sebastian Aho he's the top points getter on the team with 74 points, and Jesper Bratt coming in with 88 points as well. So New Jersey actually leads the department if you're looking at one-on-one guys who lead in total points, and it's actually Jesper Bratt. So New Jersey has that going for them there. Carolina, though, resting their guys the other night. They're going to come in fully healthy. They're coming in with a bit of a pissed off attitude as well, too, from the whole Mikko Rantanen bullshit that happened at the deadline. I think New Jersey is just going to have to try and hang on for dear life here as we finally have Neil coming back. As he was so surprised by my Canadiens pick. Oh, Neil. Did I really? You know what was funny though is I saw I'm clipping it because it was hilarious. You were like this the whole time, and I thought you were just looking down the whole time, but I didn't realize you were frozen. It was hilarious.
I'm good. I'm fine now. I'm good.
Okay, well,
what'd you say?
You want to quickly talk?
Oh crap!
So
save the best line. What did you say? Did you say it already? You already said it.
No, I haven't said it. I was talking about it because I knew you were coming back. So I was just simply talking.
All right. So you have Montreal in 7, right?
I've got Montreal in 7. Are you changing your pick?
You're making me want to change it really badly.
So I've got Canadiens in 7, man. I really do.
You know what? Oh, screw it. I'll join you on this bandwagon. Why not? I don't care anymore.
Okay.
You know what? I here's the thing. I'm not winning any money. I don't really care. Honestly, I like to have fun with this whenever I do this crap.
So all I've talked about so far is very surprising that Sebastian Aho at 74 points and you got Brad at 88 there. All signs point to
down here,
Carolina.
do you think? 74
Uh,
points?
bit of a down year for sure.
I wouldn't say it's
That's
that
okay.
much, though.
I still think it's a bit of a down year though for him. I
Okay.
think he expected better.
Was he hurt at some point?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Neil, I won't say much more because I kind of explained it already
No, you go
myself on my
first.
end.
You go
Do
first.
you want me to say mine first? Okay,
Yeah, you go first. Be honest.
I don't think it's gonna be a blowout as people think.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired of hearing that.
I really don't. I can see it that way. But I don't see. I've seen it in the past where the Devils just aren't successful in Carolina, and in
Yeah.
order to be in this series, you're gonna have to win at the bare minimum one game in this first two to be in this series. If they don't, it's gonna be a wrap. It could be a wrap very quickly, and I'm gonna take the Carolina Hurricanes in 5.
Yeah, I kind of figured you would go that route. It's just fine.
I was thinking 6, but it's just I find the Devils have a very difficult time winning in Carolina, and I think it could come to fruition again.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm actually going to be on the Surge Cast later tonight, previewing the series, so that'll be fun. And then I'm also going to be I have the Sound on Siren guys jumping on with me on Saturday.
Sweet.
To quickly preview this series. So a lot of playoff talk moving forward, which makes sense. I'll start with Carolina, like really quick. Like, look, this is a very well coached team. There's no question about it, and they do have talent. They have a lot of talent. You have Aho, you have Svechnikov, you have Seth Jarvis,
Everywhere.
you have arguably the best defensive defenseman in the NHL, and Jacob Slavin. You got Brent Burns, who's still playing at a really, really high level. And they brought in Nishkin just in time for the playoffs.
Just in time.
Just in time. Which I think he's a defenseman, if my memory is serving me correct.
I believe you're correct. Yes, he is a big.
So we'll see. I think he played already. I gotta look. I really actually don't know. I'll know more later today. But you look at it, right? And on the Devils side, there's no question about it. The Devils were one of the worst teams since the deadline in terms of just slowly falling, because they went from being one of the better teams in late December to one of the most struggling teams. And that was even before the injuries. It wasn't like guys got hurt and then they struggled. So it was frustrating. I mean, 91 points, I'll still take that. I'm still happy this team made the playoffs because I think it's needed for them. And look, Shelly keeps his streak going. He's never missed the playoffs in his career, so he's going to get another opportunity. Be interesting for him being in this situation as opposed to being where he was in Toronto the last 5-6 years. So it'll be interesting for him, I think. Also, playing game 1 on a Sunday is really pissing me off. I think it's probably pissing off Hurricanes fans.
I get it. I get it. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
So, it's been a really up and down year for the Devils. Whatever happens, I think it's still been somewhat successful despite the adversity. So with that in mind, give me the Devils in 7. I don't care.
I figured you're going to go down. And you know what? I commend that.
I don't care because I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. The Devils aren't healthy, but they have one thing that's better than the Carolina Hurricanes, in my opinion, and that is goaltending. There is no question in my mind that they have the better goaltending, because the Hurricanes have always had question marks about their goaltending. I think that they were trying to get John Gibson at the deadline, but the price was just too much.
Sure.
I think that would have been a really good addition if they had done that. You have Peter Kochetkov. You still have Freddie Anderson as well. And both of those guys, if you remember 2 years ago, Kyle, neither one of them were really that tremendous against the Devils in the second round. Yeah, I mean, and that was only because the Devils' goaltending was just that much worse with Vitek Vanacek and Akira Schmid, as we both saw in that series. The Devils needed to upgrade their goaltending, and they did. They got Jacob Markstrom in the fold, and he has gotten back to a better form of late since coming back from injury, which is great. Perfect timing. And the Devils still have one of the stingiest defenses in the NHL, despite not having Siegenthaler back in the lineup. But he might come back, apparently, according to Keefe now. Now, apparently, that's changed. So we'll see. But not having Jack Hughes is a big hole to fill. There's no question. But
you got it. I commend that, though. I really do. You got to stick with your team till the end, right?
I stick with my team, and I think that they can match up with Carolina in several ways. And so I know that, like, I'm being biased. I know I'm being a homer.
You're supposed to be. You're supposed to be.
I could see a world where the Devils do it. And you know what? I gotta be honest with you, Kyle. If they get past Carolina and you're facing Montreal in the second round, the Devils have dominated the Canadians for a while. And that would be a really interesting second round series, my opinion.
It absolutely would.
There would be a really strange world that if it's Montreal, New Jersey in the second round, we're having one of the more unlikely teams making it to the conference finals. With all things considered.
Very unlikely.
I'm gonna go with my boys from Jersey in 7 games. I don't care.
All right.
I'm going with it. And I'm gonna tell SurgeCast the same damn thing.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stay quiet and I'm just gonna fill it out. Because I already have it in mind.
Showing it. You're not gonna okay.
No. Oh no. Oh, here's what I'll do. I'll remove it. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna quickly fill it out here.
Oh, are you filling out the rest of the way? Okay, wait.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta catch up. I didn't even, what did I say? Oh, I said Lightning in 7. That's what I said. Okay. And then
so before
right.
I show you.
All right. I gotta catch up. So
before I show you, what do you think I did?
So my gut tells me you have like Panthers and like Avalanche.
Neil, I've got the Colorado Avalanche winning the Stanley Cup.
I knew it. I knew you would do that.
Listen, I love Colorado.
Again, Vegas and Colorado. Yep, that checks out.
Vegas, Colorado. Vegas, I think, dominates on home ice. I think they'll do it against LA. I don't think the Jets are still ready yet. I still think that Colorado is going to have their number, even though, I mean, Colorado had their number last year. I think they're going to have their number this year. I got Florida over the Leafs. I think they're going to bully them the entire way. Carolina should take care of business against whatever, even if it's Washington. I think they're still going to take care of it. Florida, I still think, is going to be healthy enough. And the only thing that's going to get in their way is injuries to get back to the Cup final. And this Colorado team, I think, is going to be special, man. I really do. All they really need is a little bit of goaltending, and it can get them far. And I think they can get them all the way to the final, and I think they end up winning it.
I love it. Do you want to see mine?
Sure.
You want to see mine? Okay. Let's see. Where's my? Okay,
yeah.
You ready for it?
Hey, wait. Let
me ask you. What did you think I went with?
Well, you don't have New Jersey in the final, obviously.
I'm being reasonable with that. All right.
This was with New Jersey, and this was with New Jersey winning, correct?
Correct.
I think you have Tampa in the final.
Okay.
And I think you have, and on the other side, you had St. Louis, Colorado, Vegas, and LA, right?
I had I had St. Louis, Colorado, Vegas, and
you
LA.
Motherfucker, you're gonna put You've got Tampa. I feel like it's either LA or I think you're gonna do the same with Colorado. I'm gonna go with LA.
That's your final answer?
Did I get it?
Kyle, I have the LA Kings against the Tampa Bay Lightning in the finals this year. And there's nothing I don't like about the LA Kings. I'm being honest.
I don't like them either. I don't like them either.
I said I like them.
Oh, you like them. Oh, okay.
I said there's nothing about them that I don't like.
Sorry. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Because they have a system that is so annoying to play against. Unbelievably annoying. And Darcy Kemper, we've seen it. We've seen what he can do in the playoffs when he's rolling. Wouldn't it be something?
If he
conference finals, he got to go up against that team, which he had to practice against a lot in his time.
That's right.
I really like the LA Kings to make a run. But do I have them winning the cup? It's the ultimate question.
I think you got Tampa winning the cup. Yeah,
Screw
I think you got Tampa.
Screw you. Yeah. I like it. I think Tampa can do it.
I thought I was like, you don't have the Leafs. You don't have the Leafs. You went on the Canadiens bandwagon. I feel like that was kind of a layup there for Tampa. And I think the West is just, I think the West for you is just probably more tough to decide because I think like if I don't, answer me this. I don't think the Jets or the Blues get far.
I don't think either one of them get far. No.
Right.
No.
So I think in the West, it's probably a 3 to 4 horse race. Dallas, Colorado. I think Vegas gets through fine. I don't think the Oilers go far. I like LA. So, all right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Again, that was our Flames season wrap up and playoff predictions. We're going to be live on Saturday night at 8:30. Game 1, Dallas and Colorado will be myself and Bailey, who was formerly part of the Surgecast, who's going to be starting her own thing very soon.
Which I love it.
Tuesday, we will be live Game 2 for the Devils and the Hurricanes.
I actually do have one more question for you, Kyle, with regards to the bracket. What was your prediction for total goals?
In the finals, I had 26.
I was thinking like 31.
Okay.
I was actually looking it up before. I was like,
it depends who's there, you know?
When I did my March Madness bracket, right, the tiebreaker was like, combined score.
Right.
Of like the national championship game. I actually found a data that was created that showed the average scores. Okay. So I went with an average total points. That was like 140 something.
Interesting.
But I can't find an average for like, who scores this. So I'm just going to go with 31 and be happy with it.
I like it. All right. Yeah, we'll be live Saturday night. We'll also be live Tuesday coming up. We got a lot of live stuff coming up, man. It's playoff season yet again.
Awesome.
I think we should sit afterwards and just plan out a little bit what our
I think we can. Yeah, we can do that.
All right. You can catch next episode for us probably on Monday will be my guess. We'll figure out kind of how the playoffs go. It might be once a week. It might maybe twice a week if I feel like it. But we'll just go from there. Cool. Good stuff as always. And we will catch you guys on Monday. Enjoy the start of the playoffs, and we will chat on Monday. Later, guys.
Later.